Now, increasing numbers of sporting events are being targeted by protesters. Where do you stand on what's going on? Chaos reigned at the World Snooker Championships on Monday after activists from Just Stop Oil disrupted the event, with one covering a table in orange powder and another gluing herself to the table. Here's the moment it unfolded.
Well, these are terrible, terrible scenes here at the Crucible. Everybody trying to enjoy the snooker. I've never seen anything like this in 25 years of watching or working on the Crucible Theatre snooker.
Now, a man and a woman have been arrested and remain in custody. And that was just one in a number of protests that have affected sporting events recently. Last year, protesters glued themselves to the goalposts at Premier League football matches. We've seen Just Stop Oil invade the track during last year's Formula One British Grand Prix at Silverstone, and over the weekend, the Grand National had to be delayed due to protests. So why has this been happening? Well, let's speak to Oliver Clegg from Just Stop Oil. Morning to you, Oliver.
Good morning.
Why are you targeting sporting venues and events?
Yeah, so Just Stop Oil is demanding that the government immediately halts any new fossil fuels licensing, and we are taking action until the government makes that statement. As soon as they do that, we will stop. The disruption ends.
But why are you targeting these events in particular?
Well, the BBC has been giving 150 hours and 40 minutes to covering that snooker championship, and yet at the same time, we have drought and heat waves in India. That is buried down the agenda. That is the destruction caused by the climate crisis.
Well, that will still be reported on the news. It's still getting the coverage.
Well, it's being buried. When we say that there's a climate crisis, that's not just a buzzword. It means actually taking seriously that we're headed for disaster. Like air pollution, for example, caused by fossil fuels, is more deadly than obesity. It's causing more deaths than HIV, tuberculosis, and malaria combined. But I'd be willing to guess that a lot of your audience didn't know about that because it's not being reported on. What is being reported on is the snooker.
I don't think you would find it in news reports that a lot of time is dedicated to how the climate is changing, how that's affecting people, especially pollution as well.
And yet the government is still giving out new fossil fuel licenses. And every single one of those is destroying the future of a 20-year-old like me. When we say that there'll be 1 billion climate refugees, and that's not coming from me, that's coming from figures used by the United Nations, 1 billion climate refugees by 2050. That's when I'll be 47, when I'll be in my middle age. We could be headed for that. Of course, we're going to take action to try and stop that.
Do you think the public support what you're doing and how you're doing it?
Well, I hope so, and you can come to our website, juststopoil.org. But of course, we're not trying to win a popularity contest here. This isn't the X Factor. We're trying to fight so that we can have a future.
Well, I got a message here from a listener that says these protesters, they're morons on a self-indulgent ego trip. They latch onto any cause that suits their agenda. They're surplus to requirements because whatever cause they claim to support is almost certainly a charity or professional institution already working diplomatically behind the scenes. Getting up people's noses is counterproductive. What would you say to that?
I wish that by taking less disruptive action, we could be successful. But for example, when I was tiny, there was the Iraq War started, and you had millions of people taking part in marches, protesting in less disruptive ways. You had millions of people signing petitions. You had lots of people voting for different political parties. And what did you get as a result of that? It didn't make change. Disruptive protest, that is what works historically.
What about sports fans who go to watch these events for their enjoyment? Don't they matter?
Of course they matter. And when we're not trying to ruin the time of people going to watch the snooker. I don't have anything against anyone who likes the snooker. But what we are saying is that, this championship, it's been going on for, I think it's in its 97th year, this snooker World Championship. And if you want the snooker to be going for another 97 World Championships, then you need to take action on the climate crisis.
Well, there are reports this morning that there are fears that Just Stop Oil may target the London Marathon and maybe this weekend's FA Cup ties as well. Do you expect to be turning up there?
Well, I don't think we'll be specifically disrupting that, but we are going to be in London and throughout April, slow marching in roads around London.
What's your end goal?
Well, our end goal is that the government immediately makes a statement saying that it will halt all fossil fuel licenses. As I said at the beginning of this interview, as soon as they do that, the disruption ends.
Oliver, thank you for your time. That's Oliver Clegg from Just Stop Oil. And how are you feeling about the way that they go about their protests? Are you more accepting of them targeting sporting events than, trying to get their message out there by blocking roads, just gluing themselves to goalposts, just climbing gantries over motorways? What do you think of these Just Stop Oil protests, especially at the snooker last night, the other night, which was quite shocking to see? It's not something you would expect to see at an event like that. But yeah, do you back the way that they go about things? Have you ever done anything like that yourself? What were the consequences to the action you took and the way you took it? Make any difference? Let me know. 0800 121 8181 or text 81333. Start your message with HW.
BBC Hereford and Worcester.